Let's look at this. Canadians most optimistic about country since 2017. Almost 10 years ago. 9 fucking years ago. This was last updated 2 hours ago. So a fresh Abacus poll shows 47% of Canadians believe Canada heads the right way, up from 44% in early May, with Prime Minister Mark Carney's approval rating hitting a record 59%. His Liberals lead Conservatives 47 to 35% among decided voters. Buoyed voters contrast to U.S. policies under President Trump, the world instability, and pollster David Coletto notes, Canadians feel good to be here right now. While support splits among parties and regional lines, the results Mark Carney's strongest ratings over a year into his mandate, even as housing costs and taxes remain his top concerns. So this is most important for, guess who? The liberal ruling class establishment class, because they have swindled Canadians into believing in Mark Carney, believing in this like cutting and investment and this like neoconservative like fiscal conservatism of cutting government services and military spending and investment spending. And who this really helps? Who does this help? Guess who? The ruling class, because they get all the money. The economy is held inside private hands, but people are so wrapped up in this investment and jobs, and oh my God, jobs and investments are coming back to Canada or whatever. Yes, that is not enough to change your life. Sorry. The crisis of inflation, crises will keep happening. There will always be crises as long as we have capitalism. So it's good news for liberals that they're, gaining the majority, but they're not doing anything life-changing. They're actually making life worse because they're cutting services for you and funding war. They're funding, manufacturing weapons. They're funding military, police. They're cutting government services. They're getting rid of carbon taxes. They're giving tax money over to the private sector so that private individuals can hold even more money in Canada. And that's not going to help Canadians by any means. So, but Canadians are definitely enthusiastic about Mark Carney and that the Liberal Party has shifted to this like neoconservative, like common sense Liberal Party. Because now it just seems to be common sense liberals, like right-wing libertarians, and then Trump MAGA heads, basically. That just seems to be the world right now. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Let's see what people are saying. 2 polls on the same day. Carney is surging and Canadians feel is on the right track. Black locks leak in international government poll. Trust in Canada's democratic institutions in a free fall. Where is this? Black locks? I've never heard. What is black lock? Unless there's a video, maybe. Is there a video? I mean, it just released today or yesterday. Okay. The number of Canadians who believe the country is heading in the right direction has hit its highest percentage since 2017. The poll published Sunday said that 47% of people believe Canada is heading in the right direction, while 39% say the country is on the wrong track. Meanwhile, the poll suggests 76% of Canadians see the rest of the world as moving in the wrong direction. Really? I mean, that's fair. 76% see the rest of the world is moving in the wrong direction. I mean, yeah, that makes, looking at the world is like, yeah, shitty. That figure increases to 80% when the question was about the United States. Pollster David Coletto said that this is reflected by respondents saying that they see Canada as a stabilizing force in a turbulent world. This is like such bullshit too, because Canada aids and abets this turbulent world, which is U.S. imperialism, which is Western capitalism. Canada, it plays its role in that. We have like this weird propaganda, like we're the nice guys and we're like sweeties, and we're stabilizing force and we're just there to aid people and help people, which is all good and well. But it's not true at all, because we aid and abet America's war crimes. We still send arms to Israel. We fund proxy wars. Like, we are part of the Western Empire. So this turbulent world that the Western Empire is honestly creating and has created for the past 100 years. Canada has played its big part in that too, of helping that, take place. Anyway, quote, "We've got everything the world wants. And so, despite the uncertainty and the chaos of this moment around the world, I think Canadians are increasingly feeling that not everybody, but a growing number of Canadians feel that it's good to be good to be in Canada right now relative to other parts of the world," Coletto said. And the thing is, Canada doesn't have everything. You're still going to need imports from other places. Canada is very resource rich. It's top 10 or something in GDP. It's a strong, wealthy country. But it does not have anything. It does not negate. It's not going to reflect that Canada is just some superior being that is not impacted by inflation and cost of living crises and unemployment and taxes and upset people, and has problems. It's like we are tied to the USA. Wherever the USA goes, can we go? Same with Europe, the USA, like the G7, USA is leading the charge. And Canada and the G7, we're all back there being like, yeah. Even though we might not feel great about it, we have our opinions on it. We still aid and abet and help the Americans do their shenanigans, their war crimes, and their imperialism, their imperial domination of stealing other people's assets, the military stuff. Anyway, quote, quote, "There's this part patriotism, but also part rational response to feeling that things are moving in the right direction, and they haven't felt that way in quite a while." Yeah, the patriotism narrative has got people all fucking wound up in a knot, got their panties nice and tight, because Canada, I don't think, is really in any threat besides Russia. I don't think America is going to invade. If anything, they just want Alberta to secede into America. But other than that, what else? What is there? I think the sovereignty narrative is being way too overblown and way too used, and it's getting people stirred up because people see the shitty news and the volatility in the world, and they go, "Oh my God, I need to protect myself in Canada," right? The perception of Canada being on the right track does split along party lines, with 71% of Liberal voters sharing that view, and only 24% of Conservative voters. So the Liberals are all hype. 71% of Liberal voters are going nutty. Plato said that while issues like affordability rank highly for everyday challenges faced by Canadians, they aren't necessarily blaming the federal government as the sole cause. Really? That's interesting, because of Trump, right? Quote, "They're not pointing to the decisions that the Carney government are making. They're pointing to Trump. They're pointing to these conflicts around the world as things that, yes, are driving their price of gas up, are going to put pressure on the price of food, but they're looking for people who can help," Leto said. And right now, for almost 6 in 10 Canadians, Mark Carney is that person. So Mark Carney is like the fiscal god, right? He is the banking king, I guess. And he is no different than Margaret Thatcher. He's no different than Biden. He's no different than Stephen Harper, because all he's doing is cutting government services and giving money to the private sector in the terms of investment in Canada. We need to help our economy in Canada. Our economy is struggling in Canada. We need to boost our economy. Our economy is held in the hands of private individuals, private owners, corporations, TELUS, Rogers, huge oligarchs. So helping the economy means feeding them money, feeding them investments so they can make billions of dollars. Meanwhile, you get $70,000 a year, while he gets hundreds of millions to billions of dollars a year. That's helping the economy. That doesn't help anyone else besides the ruling class in Canada. So, but liberals love that shit, right? Everyone loves that shit because that's how people see the world. They view the world in this market lens, and you know, freedom of choice to choose your job. And it's, you know, not really like that when there's certain demand for jobs from capitalists, and they're the driving force behind that. And when the market eventually crashes and fails and dries up because of lack of resources, too much competition, and battles and wars and fighting over resources, that shit plummets and it crashes. Capitalism's a very shitty, volatile system. But everyone loves Mark Carney. He is like if Justin Trudeau just did any fiscal like investing of what Carney's doing, of just cutting some services, being like, we're gonna save here and we're gonna invest here, whatever the fuck, and made a more deal about it, of like actually propagandizing that. Not that would be good for Canada, but you know, the way Justin Trudeau got kind of bullied out of office, I was just like, damn, got wedgied hard. The poll suggests that optimism is giving a boost the Prime Minister Mark Carney Liberal government more than a year into the current mandate. Abacus found that the Liberals have a majority support in Atlantic Canada, Quebec, Ontario, and BC. The Conservatives enjoy most support in the prairie provinces, which makes sense. They are the rural provinces, the oil prairies, and the farmland provinces. 47% of respondents said they would vote Liberal if an election were held today, and 35% they said they would vote Conservative. The Conservatives are crashing out in Canada. What is happening to the Conservatives in Canada? This is the highest result Abacus has tracked for the Carney's Liberals. The NDP picked up 8% support in the poll, and the Bloc Québécois at 6%, and the Green Party at 2%. Who are these people, by the way? I've never met anyone who voted Green or Quebec. I'm not Quebec, but Green or NDP. I mean, I've voted NDP before, so that's not true, but like 8 and 2%? Where are these people? This survey was conducted between May 14th and May 20th with 1,920 respondents and has a 2.23% margin of error, 19 times out of 20. So statistically, you know, pretty accurate. 2.23% margin of error, pretty good. And that's easily enough respondents for like enough data. So yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, everyone's kind of whipped up about this nationalism stuff, and the Liberals are jumping on it for sure, way better than the Conservatives have been. And yeah, like Conservatives are so aligned, like they look at the Conservatives as the Trumpy people. So until they kind of wash that, I don't know how they win in Canada. But anyway, that's that. Just like and subscribe because I'm going to cut this into a YouTube video and join the stream.